I was thinking about this the other day. Navigating the internet used to be, well, it was a lot like using a traditional paper map.
Oh, yeah. So,
Like you unfold it on the dashboard, you look at the legend, you follow the blue line to get to the red dot.
yeah.
The whole process was entirely predictable.
Right. You type a keyword into a search bar, a search engine hands you a clean list of 10 blue links, and you just click the first one that looks relevant.
Exactly, you do the driving.
And, the entire architecture of the web relied on that predictability.
Mm.
You could systematically engineer your way to the top of that list because, well, the rules of the road were static. The search engine was just the vehicle, but your website was always the final destination.
Right. But then you step into the reality we were looking at in our briefing, and suddenly that paper map is basically redrawing itself while you are driving down the highway.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is anticipating where you want to go, pulling the information from the destination, and just handing it to you in the passenger seat. You don't even need to travel down the road to get there anymore.
Which is, it is the absolute definition of a paradigm shift. The map isn't guiding you to the destination anymore. The map has literally become the destination.
Yeah. So, welcome to the deep dive. Our mission for you, the listener, is to decode a massive industry-shaking briefing covering the exact dates of Saturday, August 1st through Friday, August 7, 2026.
And there is a lot to get through.
There really is. Okay, let's unpack this. The core tension we are looking at across all these sources is that traditional search engine optimization, the SEO we have known for 2 decades, is being completely upended by generative AI. The old goal of ranking position #1 is, well, it's officially dead.
It really is. And as we go through this chronological journey, we aren't just going to look at the surface level technical changes. We're going to explore the underlying mechanics.
The why and the how.
Exactly. The why, the how, and what it actually means for the future of digital visibility. Because we are moving from an era of information retrieval into an era of information synthesis.
And by the end of this deep dive, you will understand the exact strategies needed to navigate a world where AI answer engines dictate the entire flow of traffic.
So let's get right into it.
Yeah, the shift starts aggressively in the data from Saturday, August 1.
Yeah.
Google's AI overviews, which are now powered by the Gemini 3.5 Flash model, basically became the default standard.
Right.
They are branding this the intelligent search box experience. And we are talking about multimodal inputs, side-by-side website viewing, and real-time AI image generation happening directly inside the search result.
Which is huge. But the critical thing to understand from that Saturday, August 1st data is the immediate metric fallout.
The drop in clicks.
Yeah, a massive drop. These AI overviews are suppressing organic clicks by over 30% for any page that is not explicitly featured in the AI response.
Over 30%. That is a staggering drop in visibility overnight.
It proves the battlefield has moved.
Yeah.
You are no longer fighting for position #1 on a list of links. You are fighting entirely for cited in AI status.
Right.
The AI has to choose you as its source material, or you just don't exist to the user.
Which brings us to the rise of generative engine optimization, or GEO. It has officially transitioned from a fringe experiment to an absolute mandate for anyone online. And the technology standard enabling this is the llms.txt file, which the data shows is accelerating in adoption right alongside traditional XML sitemaps.
Yeah, that file is everything right now.
I actually look at this llms.txt file like a VIP list for AI bouncers. You are handing the bouncer a tightly controlled document and saying, hey, here is the exact verified data you should use when you talk about our brand.
That's a really good way to put it. And the mechanical reason llms.txt is so vital comes down to how large language models actually process data.
Right, because they don't read the web like old crawlers did.
Exactly. Traditional XML sitemaps are full of metadata, relational links, and HTML bloat that traditional web crawlers need for indexing. But an LLM doesn't care about your site architecture.
No, not at all.
It cares about tokens and context windows. So the llm1.txt file uses raw, structured markdown to feed the exact optimized context directly into the model's brain.
You are reducing the token bloat.
Right, which drastically lowers the chance of the AI hallucinating facts about your brand. You're giving it the pure data it wants.
But wait, let me push back on this for a second. If brands have to explicitly guide AI to their content and, structure it perfectly for these specific machines using dedicated files, doesn't that inherently bias the entire internet toward massive enterprises?
You mean the guys with the big budgets?
Yeah. The companies with huge technical resources and massive development teams are going to dominate this.
Well, that is the logical fear, definitely. But the data actually points in a different direction.
Really?
Yeah, the AI models are leaning heavily on specific trust signals over just pure technical polish. If you look at Google's Open Knowledge Format version 0.2, they introduced 5 new trust signals specifically aimed at assessing content credibility.
Oh, okay.
And this ties directly into EA: experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. EET is maturing from a vague set of human rater guidelines into hard mathematical ranking signals.
Which is shifting brand authority in wild ways. Like the briefing notes the aftermath of the May 2026 core update. Reddit's share of top 3 positions rose to 10.24%, while YouTube actually fell to 2.14%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because Reddit represents raw, unfiltered human experience. When an LLM generates a response, it needs to ground that response in reality to avoid sounding robotic or, hallucinating.
It needs real people talking about real things.
It craves authentic human consensus, which forums provide in spades. This means SEO and digital PR are no longer separate departments. They are the exact same function.
Wow. Okay, so if visibility is dropping that fast for anyone not adapting to these trust signals, that completely explains the mad dash we're seeing to update tech stack.
Oh, absolutely.
And looking at the data from Sunday, August 2, the industry response went straight into a full-blown software arms race. The toolset required to diagnose and track this new reality changed practically overnight.
Because traditional rank trackers have a massive blind spot right now. They are built to scrape static HTML pages and check which URL sits in position 3. But generative AI responses are dynamic. They change based on the user's prompt history and conversational context.
So the traditional tools simply cannot see inside the black box of an AI overview.
No, they're flying blind.
So we see the heavy hitters making huge pivots to solve this. Semrush One launched its AI-powered command center for $199 a month, tracking up to 50 complex prompts across ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google AI mode. Ahrefs launched Latido, a dedicated AI agent platform, for $99 a month. But because of those blind spots you mentioned, we also see an explosion of highly specialized AI visibility trackers.
Which is where things get really dynamic.
Yeah, the Sunday, August 2 data highlights niche platforms like Otterly AI at $29 a month, Kimi at €149 a month, and Peekaboo AI at $50 a month, just rushing in to fill the gaps the legacy tools left behind.
And these specialized tools are crucial because they don't just track position, they track sentiment and entity association.
What do you mean by entity association?
Well, they tell you if ChatGPT is recommending your software enthusiastically, neutrally, or worse, pushing a competitor instead of you.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Surfer SEO introduced this new AI mention tracking, but they are still pushing their proprietary content score.
Right, yeah.
Which feels weird because if AI algorithms are just extracting hard facts, data, and schema markup, how does a traditional human readability content score even matter anymore? I mean, an AI model values data completely differently than a human reader casually scrolling a blog post.
It does, but the underlying strategy of GEO actually bridges that exact gap. The Sunday, August 2 data outlines the core GEO playbook. You have to create authoritative content that answers what is it, who uses it, how to choose, and pricing, all within a single URL.
All on one page.
Yes. So a high content score in this new era doesn't just mean the prose flows beautifully. It means the page is so semantically rich and logically structured that an LLM can instantly extract those exact answers without having to piece them together from 5 different pages across your domain.
Oh, I see. It is about computational efficiency.
Exactly.
Okay. That structural efficiency for the machine makes perfect sense. Now, while the software arms race focus heavily on tracking this new data, tracking is only half the battle.
Right.
What happens when we need to actually fix the problems we uncover? That leads us directly to the developments from Monday, August 3, which reveal a massive shift toward machines actively fixing things without human intervention.
The autonomous stuff.
Yeah, we are entering the era of autonomous agentic SEO.
We are moving rapidly from diagnostic dashboards to execution engines. The software is no longer just telling you what is broken. It is actually reaching into your website and repairing it for you.
I was looking at platforms like OTO, SEO, Airtop, and Noyamos AI. OTO SEO specifically operates via a lightweight pixel installed on the site. It instantly injects schema markup and updates meta tags in real time.
Completely bypassing the need to submit developer tickets, which is huge for SEOs.
It really is. It's like moving from a dashboard that just blinks a red light to tell you your car's engine is failing,
Yeah.
to having a microscopic mechanic living inside the engine block that physically repairs the pistons while you're driving 70 miles an hour down the highway.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And to power that microscopic mechanic, the underlying technology connecting these systems had to evolve.
Right.
The Monday, August 3 data points to the rapid adoption of the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. Platforms like Semrush and Ahrefs have actually integrated MCP servers directly into their architecture.
Wait, how does that actually work in practice?
So think of MCP as a universal translator. It allows an AI assistant to query a massive, complex SEO database using natural language.
Oh, right.
Instead of a human analyst running a specific SQL query, exporting a CSV, and pivoting the data to find insights, the AI just talks natively to the database.
Just having a conversation with the data?
Yeah, it asks, hey, which of our pages lost visibility and perplexity this week? And the database feeds the raw data back through the MCP, and the AI translates that into a strategic action plan.
Which fundamentally changes what we are optimizing for, because the AI processes information conceptually rather than literally.
Yes.
You aren't trying to match a specific keyword string anymore. You are trying to cover an entire topic so comprehensively that the AI recognizes your brand as the definitive entity in that space.
Exactly.
I want you, the listener, to really imagine what your workflow looks like when your primary SEO tools become invisible data backends for an AI assistant rather than a dashboard you manually log into every morning.
It just redefines the role of the marketer from a tactician to a strategist. The machine handles the execution, and you handle the narrative.
But this brings up a massive glaring question.
Okay.
If the tools are changing this fast and the platforms are automating the execution, how is the actual human user behaving on the other end of the screen? Like, are people actually changing how they search?
Well, that brings us to the behavioral data from Tuesday, August 4. And honestly, the behavioral shifts are arguably more dramatic than the technical ones because they invalidate years of historical keyword data.
Yeah, the stats from Tuesday, August 4 are genuinely mind-blowing. Between 65 and 85% of ChatGPT prompts have no matching keyword in traditional SEO databases at all.
None. Zero.
Meanwhile, combined search usage, meaning traditional search engines plus LLMs, is up 26% worldwide. And 61% of B2B software buyers are now explicitly using AI search engines alongside Google.
Because users are realizing they don't have to speak computer anymore. They aren't typing truncated queries like, best CRM software 2026. They are giving the AI 3 full paragraphs of context about their specific company size, their budget constraints, their current tech stack, and their pain points.
Just explaining their whole life to the bot.
Exactly. And then they are asking for a bespoke, personalized recommendation. Traditional keyword volume metrics just cannot capture that level of conversational nuance.
But wait, let me ask a pointed question here. This feels like a contradiction.
Yeah, so?
Well, if AI overviews and ChatGPT are eating up organic clicks because they're just giving users these bespoke answers directly, how did Google search revenue rise 19% year over year according to this same briefing? If traffic is falling, shouldn't revenue be tanking?
What's fascinating here is the psychology of user friction. The data shows that AI search is additive, it's not a replacement. When you lower the friction of finding an answer, users don't search less, they search more.
Really?
Yeah, we are seeing a massive rise in iterative prompting.
Meaning they ask follow-up questions instead of just bouncing.
Exactly. In the past, a user might run one search, get frustrated scanning 10 blue links, and just give up. Now they ask an initial question, the AI provides a summary, and the user asks 3 highly specific follow-up questions.
Oh, wow.
That is 4 queries instead of 1. And for Google, that means 4 distinct opportunities to serve clustered, highly targeted ads. Furthermore, look at the WebGuide experiment mentioned in the Tuesday, August 4 data.
Yeah, the grouping thing.
Right, Google is actively grouping search results by Gemini-powered subtopics instead of a strict vertical ranking.
So if you search a broad topic, the AI clusters the results so you can navigate related aspects of the query simultaneously. That means optimizing for a single position number one is basically meaningless.
Totally meaningless.
You need to cover enough of those semantic subtopics to appear in multiple clusters at once. And teams are relying on tools like Writesonic's GEO Action Center at $249 a month, and Clearscope, which is now $350 a month, and is scoring content against both traditional Google signals and AI visibility signals simultaneously, just to keep up with that clustering.
Which perfectly sets up the stark reality we see in the data from Wednesday, August 5.
Right.
We have this massive additive search volume, but we have to look at what those searches actually result in.
The absolute dominance of zero-click search. Roughly 68% of U.S. searches now end without a single click to a website. And it gets wilder. When users are in AI mode, the data shows 93% zero-click behavior. 93%, compared to 43% in standard AI overviews.
Yeah.
93% of the time, the user gets their conversational answer and just leaves the ecosystem. Practically speaking, how do you even optimize for a machine that is designed to hoard the user?
Well, the Wednesday, August 5 briefing highlights a highly specific structural tactic: answer blocks.
Answer blocks.
These are concise 40 to 60 word definitions placed to the absolute top of your articles. You're writing specifically for machine extraction.
But why that specific length? Why 40 to 60 words?
It comes down to how transformer models use attention mechanisms. An LLM assigns mathematical weight to the most dense, relevant information. If you start a blog post with 3 paragraphs of meandering marketing fluff about how, in today's fast-paced digital world, CRM software is important, the AI's attention mechanism dilutes. It just ignores you.
Right, it wants the meat.
By placing a dense 50-word, highly accurate summary at the very top, you force the attention mechanism to lock onto your core facts. The LLM pulls your block verbatim.
The briefing also stresses that entity SEO and schema markup like FAQ, how-to, product, and organization schema are no longer optional. You have to explicitly define your data for the crawler. But I have to challenge the premise here. If 93% of users in AI mode never click our links, aren't we just optimizing ourselves out of a job? Like, why should a brand invest resources into being cited if it doesn't result in tangible traffic to their website?
That is the existential crisis of modern digital marketing right there.
Yeah.
And it requires a fundamental reframe of what success actually looks like.
All right.
The data clearly states that success is being redefined around conversions and brand authority as the source, rather than raw top-of-funnel traffic clicks.
So you are saying the traffic you DO get is just incredibly high intent?
Yes, exactly. If ChatGPT recommends your B2B software over a competitor based on that dense context you provided, the user might not click through to read your company blog post, but they will click through to book a demo or make a purchase.
Right.
You are capturing the absolute bottom of the funnel. The AI is doing the middle funnel nurturing for you. The briefing actually notes that agencies who ignore this shift and only chase traditional vanity clicks are reporting losses of 25% or more of their total traffic.
Wow.
AI citations are the new word-of-mouth marketing.
Okay, that makes sense for a software company selling demos. But if raw traffic is dropping across the board, how do creators, news publishers, and recipe bloggers actually get paid?
Yeah, that's the hard part.
That takes us right into the massive economic shifts reported on Thursday, August 6th. We are seeing real structural changes to the underlying monetization of the open web.
Because the content economy cannot survive on a zero-click model without adapting its revenue streams.
Right. And we see the introduction of Cloudflare's monetization gateway. This is fascinating. It allows publishers to explicitly charge AI agents for accessing their web pages, their data sets, or their APIs. It's basically like erecting toll booths on the information superhighway. You can opt in to charge a microtransaction every time an LLM scrapes your data to train its model or answer a user. Or you can block the bots entirely, but then you become completely invisible in the new ecosystem.
And beyond the open web, we are seeing major platforms bypass traditional scraping entirely through direct licensing.
Right.
The Thursday, August 6 data shows Yelp licensing its real-time local reviews, photos, and business info directly to OpenAI.
Yeah.
That gives ChatGPT a pristine direct pipeline to local data.
So if a local restaurant wants to show up when someone asks ChatGPT for a dinner recommendation, their Yelp profile is now suddenly their primary SEO asset.
Exactly.
That completely changes local marketing. And it's not just text queries evolving either. OpenAI launched their GPT Live voice models, which is massively accelerating conversational spoken language queries.
People are literally talking out loud to their search engines while they cook or drive.
Yeah. And to adapt to this fragmented landscape, Google Search Console introduced a new platform properties feature.
Which is a massive validation of the modern content ecosystem. Search Console now lets creators see exactly how their YouTube videos, their TikToks, and their Instagram posts are performing natively on Google Search and Discover.
Proving that social and video content are now first-class SEO assets.
Exactly. It is no longer just about optimizing text on a blog. It is about optimizing your entire digital footprint across all mediums because the AI is watching everything.
Which perfectly sets up the climax of our timeline. When we look at the data from Friday, August 7, the full picture of this new digital landscape finally coalesces.
It does.
Let's look at the sheer scale of the current state of play. AI overviews are now heading an estimated 67% of informational queries and 42% of commercial queries.
That is massive.
And the llms.txt standard we talked about has rapidly passed 12% adoption among major websites.
So the scale of the shift is no longer theoretical, it is deeply operational. But the vital insight from the Friday, August 7 data is the multi-engine nuance. You cannot just optimize for a single monolithic Google algorithm anymore.
Right, because each AI engine essentially has its own distinct algorithmic diet.
Yeah.
The briefing details exactly how these different models must be fed. Perplexity demands recent, highly cited sources. It wants empirical proof and links. ChatGPT demands EET trust signals and conversational depth. It wants to act as a thought partner. And Claude demands nuanced authoritative reasoning and complex problem solving.
You have to satisfy the specific computational cravings of different models while still maintaining a cohesive, unified brand narrative across the web.
So what does this all mean? When you synthesize all of this data from August 1st to August 7th, the final takeaway is that content now has a mandatory dual audience.
A dual audience, yes.
Every single time you hit publish, you are writing for human readers who want engagement, narrative flow, and usability, A&D. You are writing for the AI models that are going to summarize you, which demand strict structure, dense answer blocks, and schema markup.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, what we are really seeing is that EAT experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness has evolved from a subjective goal into a hard structural requirement.
Right.
Brand building and SEO are now exactly the same discipline. You cannot hack your way to authority with just keyword density or manipulative backlink strategies anymore. You actually have to be an undeniable authority in the real world.
You have to be the most trusted, verifiable entity on the web. That is an incredible journey through a very intense, industry-shifting week of data. I want to thank you, the listener, for joining us on this complex, chronological deep dive.
It is a massive amount of structural change to process, but understanding the underlying mechanics of these systems is the only way to adapt your strategy effectively. And before we go, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder that isn't explicitly in the briefing, but is the logical conclusion of everything we've discussed today.
Oh, lay it on us.
We've talked extensively about feeding these AI models with optimized llms.txt files, strict answer blocks, and structured schema so they cite you as the source.
Right.
But as these models ingest more and more of this perfectly structured information and internalize these facts deep into their core neural weights, what happens when they become so smart they no longer feel the need to cite their sources at all?
Oh, wow.
Will generative engine optimization even matter if the AI simply claims the knowledge as its own native intelligence?
That is a terrifying and fascinating question. If the map starts redrawing itself without ever telling you who paved the roads, where do we go from there? Something to mull over as you build your next digital campaign. Stay curious, everyone. Catch you on the next deep dive.